This is going to be a disaster. Welcome, everybody, to a review of 1977's Japanese horror film, House. I'm John, and I like when the cat plays the piano. I'm joined with Haley.
So I like Skelly dancing in the background, and I want Editor Johnny to sometime within this playthrough show up Skelly dancing in the background.
I'm also here with Mike. You've known him before.
Hello, everybody. I love severed ass coming out and kicking that kick in the cat in the face.
And joining...
That's good.
Joining us for the first time because he's being held hostage, our Mike's good friend, Randall.
Please help me. If you can rescue me, please do. Also, my favorite scene of this thing, I was just forced to watch at gunpoint, was Liberace piano eats virgin girl.
And the golden chainsaw.
So can we all talk about, please, how much that piano was like the man-eating piano from Mario 64?
That gave me cute feels.
Okay, I feel stupid because I was such an idiot. I never ran for the ghost, so I never got to that level.
You never got to the hidden level.
No.
Do you know how many people, like even DGR, I think, did not know you could do that?
I'm a dum-dum.
You are a dum-dum.
What are the red coins is underneath the piano? How do you beat the level without encountering the man-eating piano?
So, guys, if you're Googling a podcast hoping for a plot summary...
Okay, no. First off, two of us, actually no, all of us, the movie House, directed by something I cannot pronounce his name.
That guy.
Japanese movie came out in 1977. It was all recommended to us, and we went, "What's it about?" And the other person said, "Just watch it." Pause. Just watch it.
And so we're here to tell all of you watching this review today. I understand that you're here watching this review hoping for some kind of like, oh, should I watch this movie or should I not? No. Go watch it. Pause this review right now and go watch it. If you've seen it, continue on.
I don't know. If you're sick of Wes Anderson films, or you love them, go watch it. Go watch it, either or. Whether you love him or hate him. I was just like, wow, it's like Wes Anderson's inspiration or... maybe the antithesis of Wes Anderson. I don't know.
If you thought Grand Budapest Hotel needed more half-naked Asian women,
yeah,
this is the movie for you.
So, just for a background, before it was Mike's birthday, god damn you for being born, by the way.
Welcome.
I'm 29.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Even though this won't come out for like a week.
I'll still be 29.
Mike and I saw this once. Randall and Haley are virgins to 1977's House, and when it ended, the first thing I said to Mike was, I have two criticisms. One of them is, it's over already. But the second upsetting thing was I can't tell somebody it's so bad it's good, because as asinine and fucking off the walls as the editing is, I still enjoyed myself.
Yeah, I swear to God, you can actually play a drinking game with the editing. Drink a shot every time you see a bad mat in the background. You can do a drink every time you see what do I call that Zoom
the
circle?
Iris?
The iris in or out.
Yeah, the iris in or out. Take a drink as long as that iris lasts. Trust me, you won't be drinking very long.
Now, Sean and Haley haven't seen Trolls 2, but I would compare this to that.
Next
I
week.
agree with you. Like, okay, yes, if you must compare the feelings as you're watching it, it is like watching Trolls 2. But I would defend this and say it's not one of those movies that's so bad it's good. It's not because this is legitimately this movie knows what it's doing.
Right, this is not a
Trolls
hate watch.
That's just a badly made movie.
Yeah.
If I can,
this is having fun.
Not
with
to be
everything.
Not to be a spoiler. It's like the difference between popcorn and bananas.
I don't know what that means, but I love what you just
Elaborate.
said.
They're both yellow, but we have so much more to unpack.
I'm elaborating because in Trolls 2, there's a very integral scene.
I get it.
With popcorn. I mean, if you've seen Trolls 2, you'll understand this.
Oh.
And in this movie, there's a throwaway scene with bananas.
This is like the difference between popcorn and bananas.
Yeah, that's the difference. To me, that is the difference.
If I can defend this movie, with 5 minutes to go, I pulled up the Wikipedia page, and I do this with every movie where I'm a little confused. It did say horror-comedy.
Yeah. Okay.
Was it trying to be comedy?
Of course it was.
It succeeded in some respects.
This is Randall. This is what the difference. Trolls 2 is just badly made.
Yeah.
This movie is made with just pleasure and fun, and it feels like the people behind the camera know that this is off the walls ridiculous.
It feels like a 12-year-old found the function on their computer for like scene changes, and
I found the zoom button, Dad.
All right, yeah.
Yes, it's like someone said, like a person just found out, like a blind person was just given sight, and a deaf person was just given sound, or someone that had no concept of the duration of time was like, whoa, editing, and then they were made a crew in a film, and they were like, guys, light and sound and everything. It just, let's make a movie. This is fun. Get a kitty.
I think my problem with that was that, this was made, I mean, it was made in 1977, but like, I've seen movies made in that era that had a lot better, like, it knew where the limitations of the graphics were. And this didn't seem to know what the fuck it was doing.
Wait, you think that those graphics are supposed to seem realistic?
I mean, the scene changes, like the fade outs that all of a sudden fade into the same scene. No, that's not realistic. That doesn't happen in real life, but it also doesn't happen in the movies normally, unless it's a home movie. But what the fuck was happening?
I feel like
jump cut.
If I can
yes, jump cut.
If I can interject here, I feel like this movie, with defending Randall's point about the graphics and the editing, I feel like this movie was really trying to do something never seen before.
Oh yeah,
right.
But I'm just saying, like, think about, like, we see this now in a world of 2001: A Space Odyssey, and in the world of that weird movie with the weird fucking credits. John, what is that movie? The credits that make me sick with their neon blasts.
Enter the Void.
There we go. So we are watching this movie in a world where those kinds of things exist. In 1977, when this movie came out, I feel like it really, truly was doing things never seen before. And so I do think the movie deserves credit for that. I didn't say it did them well.
I mean, it definitely deserves credit for making me laugh a lot.
Yes.
Regardless of what you think about this movie, it is an enjoyable watch.
Very enjoyable.
It's the perfect drunk movie.
God, we are all drunk right now.
Or sober watch.
Well,
like,
okay, me and John watched it sober first, and we felt high.
It's still hysterical.
Cheers, everybody.
That's good to know.
I'll just say okay, by the way, usually in these day after podcasts, I include a table of contents. I'll try my best. This time it's going to be just nothing.
This movie defies table of contents, if we're going to be honest.
One thing that I noticed is normally I absolutely hate horror comedy. In its worst case, it's called splatstick.
Yes.
That's a great term.
That's what Scream birthed, correct?
But kind of, but Scream was a little more tongue-in-cheek. I usually hate horror comedies, and this is just the perfect blend of yes.
Okay, I don't know.
I have the same, horror comedies, whether it's Scream or Evil Dead, it falls flat on me.
Really? Evil Dead?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Really? Oh.
I will say, completely ignoring, I'm sitting on a couch with a bunch of horror aficionados and general movie aficionados.
And Randall.
Go watch ABCs of Death, the first one, and go watch F is for Fart.
It's like a prelude?
Expand F is for Fart into a movie. That is this movie.
Hey now.
The entire time, That is what I saw. Johnny, some lady was rubbing her head against another girl's ass.
And the
head was decapitated. So
it was decapitated.
Subtle difference.
No.
Subtle difference. And it was biting. Thank you. Not
How
just
have we
rubbing.
not done a day after podcast on ABC's yet?
It is happening on my birthday, I promise. I
got opinions.
I have not been writing a 45-minute essay for no reason. Okay, guys, I understand.
This has a very unique blend of humor.
I understand we've been bullshitting for, 10 minutes now. I don't know. If you're waiting here for a general plot summary, here we go. 7 Japanese schoolgirls are about to go on vacation when their normal vacation spot is not available. So one of them says, "You can stay at my aunt's house." And then they get to the aunt's house, and a lot of shit happens. Haley, you raised your hand.
You skipped over some points there.
Yes, go ahead.
Number 1, how do you know they're all schoolgirls, Randall?
Well, they wear the classic schoolgirl thing that I've seen in, I don't know, Inuyasha or something. Those animes that, you're like, oh, those are kind of good if you're in high school too or something.
Also, there was that internal, like, all the guys here were like, guiltily attracted to them, so Japanese schoolgirls.
Speak for yourself. They were not the most attractive schoolgirls, although I will say Kung Fu's polka dot pants were nice.
We'll get to Kung Fu here in just a second. Number 2, you completely took the teacher out of this equation.
Mr. Toga?
Right? Mr. Toga.
Oh yeah, he was a teacher.
What the fuck was up with that?
So, I think this was they were supposed to be going to his sister's house, and we ended up at Gorgeous's house instead. By the way, can we all go over the names that we remember of these 7 Japanese schoolgirls?
Gorgeous, Fantasy, Mac, Prof, Melody, Sweet,
and Asian.
And Kung Fu.
And Kung
Fu.
Okay.
Was that all of them?
I think that's all 7.
There's only 7 of them.
Oh, okay. I thought there were 8 for some reason.
And they go to the aunt's house, and the aunt is a witch.
The aunt of Gorgeous?
Is a witch who is trying to stay young so that she can be beautiful when her dead husband returns from World War II.
From a kamikaze pilot career.
And as silly as that premise is, I do believe it is very gently based in Japanese mythology about a woman who steals the youth of other women.
And also there's a cat named Blanche, and that's pretty important to the plot.
My fucking favorite character.
Yeah, the cat's pretty awesome. It has
obviously
green eyes.
That is a reference to Blanche Dubois from A Streetcar Named Desire.
Yes, of course it is.
Yes.
Because who else gets raped by Marlon Brando in this movie?
Well, that girl
that's where they sent Blanche to.
While that girl is getting electrocuted by the headlamp, she goes, "Stella!"
Whoa! Spoiler alert!
Oh, God. Okay, by the way, we did this for the first couple episodes. If you're on a day after podcast, it is assumed you've watched this.
Yeah,
or you
no,
don't
I already
care.
said that. I already said go watch it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so if
Been
you're here
warned.
for a plot summary, this is just purely our opinions now.
Okay, we'll talk about the fucking editing then. Milo said it best. He said, "This feels like somebody who's never made a movie before went to the TV department and said, here's $10. What can I have? We have these 50 editing effects. I'll take all of them, please."
And use all of them.
Yes,
everyone.
all of them repeatedly when they're not called for. And then
Here, let me zoom in on this cat.
And also, what can I use with the sound effect? Do people need to hear people talking? No? Great.
I have to say, okay, there is this scene at the beginning where it's going between the schoolgirls, where it's just cutting between their faces, and it was just like, ouch, my head. But then later on, it was like, it did the same thing, except the camera didn't cut. The camera just decided to move between. I got seasick.
Yes.
And I was like, no, go back to the editing. Go back to the awkward cuts. I prefer that.
The scene where you see all the schoolgirls in the schoolyard, and instead of panning or just shifting the camera to the characters' faces, they just shot each character talking and edited it badly, or purposely badly, as if the camera was moving between the faces.
I would disagree that it was bad.
Okay, but regardless, it's let me rephrase. It's obvious and it makes you notice it.
Honestly, no, it doesn't. But
yes, it does. I mean,
okay,
yes, it does. Because
no,
2 out of 3 people noticed it.
I noticed
if
it.
I'm being a particular bitch right now, honestly, the way that they edited that was easier for the photographer to get those shots and then edit them together.
Regardless, 2 out of 3 people said, "Oh." But okay.
It was less awkward and less artistic than like a Lars von Trier editing, like from Dogville
and
or
then
something.
And then there's another scene where the same kind of setup is happening and they're talking over the piano, and it decides to do just pan back and forth.
It's sickening. Oh my god.
Yes,
Haley.
Yes, Haley.
In both circumstances that they're talking about, the scene where they are in the schoolyard just generally talking about this vacation they're going on. Honestly, what they're talking about is how hot Mr. Togo is.
Those sideburns.
And then later on, they're talking about, what happened to Melody in that weird murder piano room. The only reason that to us it feels very, very jarred, either way, whether it's cutting or whether it's panning, is that those girls are all sitting in a line. They're in a horizontal line, rather than in normal we're seeing over-the-shoulder cameras where we have one person talking and then another person talking, and the camera constantly switches between the two shoulders. That does not happen with these girls. We shoot them all in a line, and not only are they all talking to each other in a line, which is really awkward anyway, we shoot them all in a line.
And the camera can't keep up with the dialogue.
Right, and no camera could keep up with that. It's as if you are watching 4 girls sitting in a horizontal line, watching them all talk to each other. Your head is doing the exact same thing the camera is doing.
What is the camera doing? Its best.
And okay, I want to add that for me, in both of those scenes, I am delighted by the camera movements. Because I just think it's a wonderful joke. I think that actually the people behind the camera know what they're doing.
Right.
That they're just purposely being bad.
So would you say this film is successful with what it's trying to do? Like, whether you thought
trolling the viewer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I thought parts of this were horrible, but I think this was an ultimately successful film, for a laugh, for what it was attempting to do, although even I have trouble articulating what I think it was trying to do.
I will give a nod to Japanese humor, which is very, very different from Western humor. Mm-hmm. I think that the director and the editor is very much playing to those ideas of timing, those ideas of irony, those ideas of what comedy actually means in different cultures, and it's going far, far to the east. And I think that's why a Western viewer feels almost alienated.
And I have to say, I had a really weird experience because the movie, okay, when I saw this, for those of you who are... The movie I had seen previously was a Japanese film directed by Ozu, which is like stylistically on the just like you could not get more different. And then to see this, it was just it was so taking all of those kind of expectations of just I don't know where I'm going to because I'm way too drunk to try to describe Ozu. So,
as we all are.
Anyway.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. My job here is to provide
good luck.
Is to provide something of a semblance of structure.
Nah.
Let me talk about the deaths, the special effects. Because the first thing that I noticed...
They are special.
They are very special.
They're so special.
You do great effects.
Can we talk about Skelly? Can we talk about Skelly first?
Oh, please.
And the award for Best Supporting Actor goes to Skelly.
The award for Best Supporting Actor goes to Skelly. Oh my god, so consistently in the background of whatever the fuck is going on, whether somebody's dying, whether the cat's walking across the piano, whether the ant's being creepy, there's this, like, fucking skeleton sitting in a room just dancing the fuck out of himself.
Some bomb ass prop designer is in the background with a black suit going, yeah.
Like, if you're an aficionado of bad films and you've ever seen the movie The Lost Skeleton of Cadavra, you'll kind of get an idea of what's going on here, except it's even more hilarious, with visually more hilarious.
I was kind of thinking Jason and the Argonauts, except instead of trying to kill each other, they're all like having a dance party on that beach.
I like to think of it as like this. That's the personification of the crew behind the camera. Just going, I fucking love this.
I'm having so much fun, everyone.
So
yes.
If you have had this movie recommended to you by a certain internet personality,
or us, whatever the fuck we are,
whoever we are,
the scene they probably recommend to you is when one of the girls is eaten by a piano. And I'm just thinking about
64 style. I again will say that.
I'm just imagining all of the blue screen gals who had to play like just a leg, flipping the leg. And like, okay, your role here is a severed arm and you're just gonna like whip it about.
Who am I? You're the tits. Oh.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so her head was in the back of the piano and now we're showing her getting slowly devoured from the front of the piano. Is that gonna be weird? Nah, it's probably fine. Don't even worry about it.
Other notable mentions include the from the grave kill by Kung Fu, who gets electrocuted with the head.
First she's been having this tremendous Kung Fu fight with Possessed Gorgeous.
As you do.
And yes.
And then she goes
Somebody is naked, right?
No, that's later. That's Prof.
Okay.
And then Kung Fu is thrown back into the house, and then she goes for a jump or something, and a lamp, like a
oh yeah,
grabs under her head and electrocutes her, and like tears.
I hate lamp.
What got me about that was it wasn't just like, and the lamp like snuck attack her. No, it like made several attempts that failed, and then it finally got her. It was like, okay, Kung Fu, if you're so cool and awesome as you have been, except that time you tried to like break down the paper walls of the house and it wouldn't work. All the other times you're awesome, but suddenly you can't dodge a lamp?
A lamp.
I mean, it's like...
She had a hard fight.
As Haley said during the film, it was like, I hate lamp.
I hate lamp.
I hate lamp.
I hate lamp.
And we all like Kung Fu and her polka dot bikini, but
she wore an itsy teeny weeny.
Yeah, I guess it was the most emotionally devastating because that ass.
Because she had so much ass.
So she gets electrocuted and then dismembered in the void. But then, because she's a badass, she sends her severed lower half, basically that ass and legs, to kick the portrait of the cat, which apparently is like a source of the ant's power.
Oh yeah, I kind of missed that part.
Is it like her familiar or something?
I suppose.
I guess.
And then the cat, then the portrait starts to spew blood / Kool-Aid. And then the house floods.
Oh, that was supposed to be blood? I just thought it was Kool-Aid. Like,
oh no,
Kool-Aid.
Oh no! I mean, I don't think if it was. It probably wasn't even food coloring. It was just there was a red light under the wall.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just bad effects, basically.
But like great bad effects.
Honestly,
like,
it's distinctive. I remember. I looked at it. Well, that is interesting.
Okay, if I can just jump on Haley's point here. There are some edits where, 40 years later, I'm like, that looks like garbage, but also...
Probably in 1977, it looked like garbage.
You don't know. Are you a...
Johnny,
we've seen
I watch a lot more older movies than you.
Mike watched a lot of older movies.
Are you my 11-year-old dad? No, but like, what charm... Okay, there is a little bit of a charm to it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
in the same way that of Jason and the Argonauts and those skeletons,
but
even though that movie's much older.
But the event that I keep referencing is that there is a shot where the watermelon is still, and then it gently moves, and then it's violently moving. What I guaranteed happened in this fucking movie is that somebody in the background, they like smash the watermelon on the side, let it jiggle, and then they move their hand really well. It's like, go, shoot. And what they had is a watermelon that moves really quickly and then dies down. And then they just play that in reverse.
Yes. And also, there's this, I know it's hard to tell, but there's this scene where the cat jumps onto a lap. That cat didn't jump.
That was so obvious. The cat was tossed onto the lady in the wheelchair. It's like the cat's supposed to jump onto her lap, but it's like so obvious somebody off screen tosses it onto her lap. I mean,
and the cat is not happy about it.
It's such a mix of visual effects. You're like, this could be good, but you know, back to back, like scene changes. It's just visuals. Oddity that it's too much.
Okay, do you have something to say? Sorry.
Well, besides, that's one of the things about this on the comment of too much is that there is this kind of a lull in the film right around when all the characters, you've just been visually exhausted. And Johnny, the first time you saw this movie, you said to me, Mike, I can't say what the fuck anymore. Honestly, and I think for me it was right around the scene where they're going downstairs and they're trying to call the phone and like they've taken out half of the frames of the footage.
Yeah.
It's comparatively slow. And also this is all around the time when the mattress death happens.
Yeah.
In a normal movie, you would be going, what the fuck? But in this movie, it's just, that's the low time.
Yeah. That's like the normal scene where the girl gets pummeled to death by mattresses. Can we please, for a second, while we're talking about effects, talk about the girl who gets her ass bitten off by a floating head?
Thank you.
Okay, it's not bitten off. It's just
nibbled
bitten.
It's just like
nibbled on, like because she like survives through most of it.
Yeah. She gets through most of the movie.
Yeah, she gets killed by pillow tits or something.
Yeah. That's Sweet who gets her ass bit.
Yeah, I can't even remember how Fantasy died. It was Fantasy, right?
I thought it was Fantasy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Fantasy.
Is Fantasy the one who gets her ass bit?
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay,
yeah.
then who's the head?
That's Mac.
That's Mac.
Mac.
Yeah,
that's right, because Mac's always hungry.
Mac is always hungry. She's actually really skinny in the film, but she's supposed to be the one with voracious American hunger. Thus, her name's Mac. I guess. So, whatever.
I suppose.
Ms. Big Mac. She did not live very long. She was the first to die.
I guess Megan McDonald.
Okay, that was one of my favorite parts when the aunt, like after, Mac dies. They put a watermelon in a well, which is the traditional way, I guess, to refrigerate it.
Yeah.
And then she somehow dies with the well, and her head is in the well, and Fantasy, is supposed to be pulling up the watermelon instead. It's Mac's head, oh my god! And then her head floats and bites her butt. Okay, we've said that several times. But what was interesting is later on, they're all eating.
Less interesting.
Right, they're eating this watermelon, which it's a watermelon, but it's also Mac's head, and so only the aunt is aware that it is Mac's head, and then Fantasy, for some reason, can see that in the ant's mouth is the eyeball, and there's this cool effect where the ant is like eating this watermelon, all of a sudden she's like moving this eyeball around with her tongue, and it's just so gross, and the eye effect is actually really good, and I'm like, that is disgusting.
That's more
and
of what
I love
I expect from a normal horror movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And she directs the pupil in the correct position along with her own line of sight.
She stares at the girl who's ever staring at her at that moment with the eyeball in her mouth.
With Mac's eyeball.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that was great. That's where the movie kind of took a turn for me. I mean, when all of a sudden Mac's head is floating in the air, I'm like, what's happening now? This is a horror film. Oh, okay. Or is it comedy? And then I saw the eyeball, I'm like, that is disgusting and funny. Okay, it's I guess a horror comedy?
I will say, for any part of the movie you're watching before they go to the aunt's house, you need to be like consistently drinking something. Like either like consistently sipping that, or like taking a couple shots in a row.
Or sober like these two guys were.
Or not, yeah.
I mean, I guess it's tricky if you it'll get you high. If you're not, this is your natural high.
The beginning of the movie is such a different tone and such a different effect.
Like, just get through all the camera working through the windows where you're seeing the father and the stepmother talking.
Oh, yeah, Princess Leia's stepmother. We didn't talk about her.
Princess Leia, like, we saw her. Haley and I saw her, and we're like, Princess Leia. We almost said it in tandem. It was like, yeah, that's
and these two were looking at us like, what the fuck?
Why are you talking about Wind Machine Lady like that? What's
That's right. And then at the end, her dress is blowing. There's two characters sitting on screen, and only Princess Leia, the stepmother's dress is blowing. Like, why? Why is only the wind hitting one of them?
She's so important. She gets her own air currents. Okay.
And yet she is actually not important to the film. I don't think. I mean, I don't know.
She's barely in it.
I mean, she's barely in it, but is she thematically important? I don't. Does theme matter?
What's most important is love.
No, what's most important is the fucking cat, because there's like cat figurines, there's cat painting.
There's the cat.
There is the cat.
Most important.
The ending monologue explains it all. Love, everybody.
And cat.
What is up with the ending?
By the way, we'll get to the ending in just a second.
Okay. Because I haven't gotten there yet, not mentally.
Randall, hang on. Hang in there
just
for
a
us.
very brief, good job, Cat. I understand that some of your film was in forward motion, backward motion, double motion, weird DJ motion where you had to move on the piano. You did a good job, Cat. I know you've been dead for like 32 years. But yeah, let's talk about the ending.
All right, let's talk about the ending.
Okay, okay, I hope we're all on the same page. The ending, yes, is the stepmom finally arrives.
I'm going to be on whatever page you want me to be on, Milo.
The stepmom arrives.
And then she makes out with the wind and the flowers.
And the purple hair. No, that's later. Purple hair is later.
Right, and then her niece, or no, excuse me, not niece. The Gorgeous has been now possessed by the aunt.
Yes.
Invites her to tea or something.
Yes.
And then burns her alive.
Yes.
Right, like the sudden fire effects, and I just burst out laughing as this flame burst out nonsensically on the film.
But before those fire effects happened, they had that weird monologue.
Well, they're hungry. They're hungry. Then
Joanna said.
But and it's like it's filmed this really weird like stylized commercial, like it's trying to sell perfume or something.
That is true. Yeah. That's definitely weird. And there's this purple glow behind her. I imagine that, right?
It felt so serious all of a sudden, and then
it delivers this monologue with the purple background glow about love
and the impermanence of something.
Like living on in the memory of others, which I mean, I guess makes sense with the aunt whose husband maybe lives on in the memory of others, but she has to live on longer to keep remembering her husband. Do you think that's what's going on? Is that it's not that she's waiting for her husband, but that the memory of her husband is what keeps her husband alive. Like, even though he's dead, she has to keep him alive by staying young, by eating these young women's souls, and thus staying young herself so she can keep him in perpetuity. God damn it, I'm quoting my own novel here. Yes, I feel like that's what's going on.
but I feel like that doesn't give enough credit to, like, I mean, the husband is dead, and he died for a reason.
Yeah.
It wasn't that just like, oh, he got cancer, he got leukemia, or whatever, and he just passed on.
He died for a failed war, a good reason.
Like he died for and I'm not saying that's a good reason, but I'm saying he personally believed in the reason that he died for. And is that the only way for the aunt to kind of square with herself on his death? Is like, I have to constantly keep the idea alive that he died for a reason. And the only reason to do that is to live forever, I think.
I mean, it's really screwed up, but I guess, it's so serious at the end, and you can't take it seriously. I think that's one of these tonal problems.
That's what I was about to say. Like, this movie is well, obviously you guys are already alluding to this. The fact that this ending monologue is a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That it's this.
Is it?
This
No,
overly sentimental. Okay, guys, what did we learn today?
I think it is. Again, I think it's that weird kind of tonal cultural difference with Japanese humor. Any Japanophiles, please feel free to discredit me with this. But again, Japanese humor is so different from the West.
Today's movie is brought to you by the letter L for love. I mean,
because it's not
That's
totally
pretty much
irrelevant.
what the ending was.
Yeah, it's not totally irrelevant to the story, but at the end, like, you just gotta go, what the fuck does that have to do with what we just watched?
Also, what does that have the fuck to do with piano eating someone and purple hair fire?
You're just so young, you don't understand.
Of course. Maybe someday when I have a kamikaze World War II husband, I will finally understand.
We can only hope.
Me too.
I'm working on it.
All right, final thoughts. We'll start with Mike.
Okay. Watch this movie. Get very drunk with friends. Watch it and just be innocent. Just don't strip away all of your cynicism and just enjoy, because you know the people making it were having so much fun. This is just a movie to have fun with. And then when you recommend it, put below in the comments how you would think you would recommend this, because this is weird.
I'm a full proponent of what Mike said, but with regards to except for the fact of watching it while drunk, I do fully believe that as you and John watch it, you can fully enjoy this sober. The most important part is that innocence, that open-mindedness, that kind of like, oh, I don't know where know that this movie is going to take you on a fucking journey, and you need to be open and okay with that, or you're not going to have a good time. And this movie, first and foremost, wants you to have a good time. So.
Zombie Nation, Trolls 2, Lost Skeleton of Cadavra, and House.
Show that dancing skeleton again.
Yeah, these movies are just the kind of movies that are gonna let you relax, especially if you're just super into good film. Once in a while, you need this stuff that's just saying, let it all go. Don't worry about good cinematography, good plots. Just be happy with what's in front of you. Have a laugh, have a drink, move on.
I love it.
Never in my life have I said the editor was having a great time. Just let him have a good time and then let you get a secondhand high off of his enjoyment of the movie. Let him enjoy himself and let you enjoy him enjoying himself. So to end the
circle
episode,
jerk together.
I know it's a whole jerking off 42 years late. To end the episode, I have 5 questions. I want to run down the thing. I want a yes or a no. We'll start with Mike. Would you recommend this?
Yes.
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 Absolutely, I would. Question number 2. Is this a good movie?
Yes.
I would argue that people's definition of what those 2 words mean are very, very different. With regards to my definitions, yes.
No, and it's not supposed to be, so yes.
Well, which is that for editor Johnny?
Let Randall enjoy his chaos.
Yes, it's a goodish movie.
Okay, I'm gonna say yeah, it's a good movie. Question number 3, Mike. Are the effects good?
No.
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 I'm gonna be the rare dude that says yeah, they are. Because
false.
That guy had a great.
Moving on.
That guy had a great fucking time. Okay, fuck you. Number 4.
Excuse me.
Number 4. Is Nobuhiko Abayashi a good director?
I feel like this movie had an intention, and he achieved his ambition for this movie. Yes.
Yes, and to say what Milo was saying more concisely, this director absolutely knew what the hell he was doing. Yes.
I mean, option A is yes. Option B is no. Option C is high. I'm gonna go with C. High.
What is that?
Hello, this is Randall. Time
I'm
to
Randall.
move on to the next question.
Not following the rules, but high is my answer.
His symbol's just gonna be a pot leaf.
Okay, is that
Funny, I don't smoke
Or a
pot.
mushroom.
I
Make it a
will
mushroom.
not ever smoke pot.
Is that close to the
Make it a mushroom.
Is that close to the Japanese word for yes? Hi.
Yes.
Yes,
Hi.
H-A-I.
Hi.
Okay, his answer is yes.
Hi.
Final question. Does this movie deserve to be on the Criterion Collection?
Oh, wow.
I defer to Milo. Whatever I think is automatically what Milo thinks. Because I defer to him.
I've watched a lot of movies in the Criterion Channel, Criterion Collection. Some of them from great directors that are bad. The Touch is on the Criterion Collection, okay? Godzilla is on the Criterion Collection. So, yes,
better.
it deserves to be on the Criterion Collection.
Oh, you deferred to Milo, so
my babe said yeah, and also yeah. Okay. Randall.
Yeah, how else would I find this film? I mean, if it wasn't for Mike and his Criterion Collection, I wouldn't know about this. And
you would have had this experience.
I need to know about this. You know, like, I might think it's bad in a lot of respects, but I need to know about these kind of movies.
So that's good.
Yeah, it needs to be there.
Positive experience.
Yes.
I hate to parrot Randall here, but if this movie is not on the Criterion Collection, my bored roommate does not go, hey, let's listen to The House. And then we watch it, and then I have my life positively enriched. So in that regard, yes, I do believe it belongs on the Criterion Collection. So guys, that's been House.
Everybody in the comments, go write a happy birthday message to Milo because he's fucking awesome. And he brought this great gift of filmography to like all of us here on the couch
It's like fucking
today.
Jesus, who's like, gold, frankincense, myrrh. Here's a weird
Those things were given to Jesus. Excuse me.
No. You wait. It's like.
Did he give those back
The
to
three
people?
wise men were like, here, gold, frankincense, myrrh. And Milo was like, I have to give something back. And then he read
Here's the house.
And baby Jesus was like, you are one of my chosen.
Baby oil, that's exactly what Mother Mary needed. Yeah. Sure.
Diapers, perfect.
Diapers, yeah. Gold, frankincense, myrrh, diapers, baby oil, baby powder. Yeah, perfect.
Bye, everybody.
Are we a meme now? Bye, everybody.
Adios.